we were talking about, the algorithm has changed everywhere. Hits on website, the algorithm has changed. It's just changed. We have to adjust. We talked about AI.
Yep.
So what are you seeing on social media, and what do you suggest for people? And you just mentioned to me now that...
So followers. So you're not, especially on Instagram, but you're going to be seeing this across all the platforms. You're not going to get followers like you used to.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I help women navigate the world of business. I'm from New Jersey. I say water funny and coffee, according to my kids.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
I have been called bitchy and bossing.
I'm Rhonda. I own a retail store. 2 years in, and I still question my sanity. But ultimately, I love it. One of the biggest things I've learned is kind of navigating the world of business, and that's where Shannon and I come together to talk about.
Figure it all out.
Yeah. It was so much easier 3 years ago, and that's what we based a lot of our business. So we'd keep doing the same kind of videos, same kind of photos, because our followers would see our content. But now they're not going to see the content.
I think it's like 5% of people see your content.
Yeah. So now you need to broaden your thought pattern, that you're no longer talking to those specific followers. You're talking to the world. So what kind of video can you make that's going to leave an impact, that might get somebody's attention? You know, the ones where they're cutting up the tomatoes really slowly, and then all of a sudden it's becoming a salsa, and then they're eating it, and you're like, oh, I want to make that, right?
Right.
So if you are a food blogger, I mean, you're going to start looking at different ways to make content.
So when you just said that, my thought was, I do see a lot of people who I follow, and I see that a lot of what they do is to their followers.
Yes.
So they're making their assumption that their followers know who they are, know what they're talking about. So you're saying you have to change it.
Yeah.
You have to be
fresh.
Like you're talking to the person who's never seen you before.
Because people now, they're going to see this video, and I've been doing this lately, trying it out. I'll see a great video specifically on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. So then I click onto their profile, I see what else they've posted, and it doesn't correlate. All of a sudden, most of their accounts about, you know, a business thing, but that was this funny little quirky dance with and not all of them are dances, so don't feel like that's what you need to be doing, but that's what caught my attention on this last one yesterday. So I go look at this guy's account, and he's an interior designer, but his content was like, it just didn't spark interest, so I didn't follow him. But you don't need to follow. People aren't looking for that anymore. They're wanting a quick get on social. You got one
social proof. If they buy from you or they do anything from you,
that's where
80% of the people are still 80% of sales are made on Google from Google search intent. And what people do is they go and they go on the website, and that's why you have to have an optimized website. You have to have a kick fucking ass website
with some AI in there.
That's right. Who people need to stay on your website as long as humanly possible. Therefore, you have to entertain and delight them as long as possible on your website.
Yep.
And that comes with professional pictures. Shitty ass pictures aren't going to do it, honey. I mean, I see it all the time. That comes from understanding the marketing psychology. But social media, then I go on social media and I look at the account.
Yes.
And if I see stuff that I'm like, what?
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Or if it's very personal, very not professional, you can do a dance and still be professional. If it looks like you're a one-stop shop or a one-person shop, I'm going to go, no, I think not.
So here's what we're going to see on social media coming up we're already starting to see it. So we have the AI bots. Basically, we're going to have somebody that will look like you, but she's an AI. She can sell things. So she can have a TikTok shop, and she's going to sell better than somebody like me. So what it comes down to is letting go of that, letting that take its place.
Correct.
And you still have to show up authentically you, no matter what.
So you have to combine the two, is what you're saying.
It would be nice.
How do you see that happening? Because someone like you, your whole life is, I love it. I saw you went on a trip with your daughter, and there were bugs at a gas station.
Oh gosh.
I don't watch it all.
Yeah.
But I get enough to go, oh, Rhonda was away and there were bugs at a gas station. She was driving across the country. And so that creates an imprint. I mean, we already had it, but if you were someone else, you know what I mean? Be like, oh, I wonder what's next. How do you merge the two?
You're going to end up creating a little AI bot that's going to look like you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And then you're going to probably put her on your feed and she's going to do, you can have her do whatever. You can have her sell.
Realistically, you still have to start with whatever the idea is to give to the AI bot.
Right.
So is that so why is that better? And I'm asking you, I don't know the answer to this. Why is that better than you?
Well, it's not better. So what you're going to find is people are going to start doing this. They're going to start adapting to AI bots, and they're already out there, and you can't even hardly tell a difference at this point. So you're looking at somebody and they're selling you, especially I think of TikTok more for this. It a little bit overwhelms me. The TikTok shops, right? And so we have these AI bots and she's on there and she's telling you about this product and how it's great. And then you click on it and you buy it from Amazon, right? Right now we have a lot of real life influencers doing that. And so they're going to be in competition with these bots. Mm-hmm. What I'm going to say is don't worry about it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because at the end of the day,
that must be great for someone who feels uncomfortable being on social media.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean,
or just doesn't have the time. So if you create this bot one time, right, you have this person.
Yep.
So if someone like me, I literally have no time. That sounds obnoxious, but I'd rather be doing nerdy, geeky stuff, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem being on social media. I just like when Maddie takes videos and I don't have to deal with any of it because I have other stuff I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But if we I create a bot for myself and then 5:00 in the morning, I have my voice memo that I send to Otter that transcribes all the crazy shit in my brain.
Yep.
I can then just upload that to the bot, press a button. There we go.
Yep.
Can we start doing that now, honey, Maddie? She wasn't listening to us, Rhonda.
Oh.
What does that tell you?
We need an AI bot to take over, simplify it.
So AI bots, how else is there, what else is changing? So are hashtags still popular? Do you, I mean, I use hashtags for search.
I would go with your hashtags. You want to be more specific than broad. And you still don't need, you can do 30 of them. It's a little overwhelming. Stay with about 8. But depending on what your business is, like for mine lately, I've been doing a lot of local hashtags so that people know I'm a Filson, like we have Filson in the store. That's a local Seattle-based company. So then I'm like hashtag P&W Life, you know.
Okay.
So you get a little more specific with your hashtags.
Do you focus on hashtags that aren't 3 million?
Right. You want the smaller, and that's where your local ones typically are going to be smaller hashtags that you're going to be seen, right? Because you start using like hashtag mom life, well, you'll never be seen in that.
Right.
So don't bother. So you're trying to use the hashtags that are going to be more specific. Like we do retail skits. We've done a few of them. And so then I'll just do a hashtag retail skit.
Oh, okay.
And there's not very many, 30,000 of them or something in that. But that's why somebody's on Instagram and they're wanting to see more retail skits.
How do you decide if what you're posting is a reel or
video content versus a real content?
Yeah.
Because you go with what's trending. And of course, reels are still trending, but they do want you to mix it up. So I fail greatly at my social media because I'm spread too thin.
You're fantastic at social media.
Well, to a certain degree, but I know what I need to be doing.
I hit a story, and 90% of it is Rhonda.
Yeah, I show up a lot, and here was sometimes I could beat myself. I know I do too. Sometimes I beat myself up that it's like, wow, some days my stories go long, but you know what? If I can impact one person in one day, and I do, that's all that matters. To encourage someone with their business or to encourage them in their personal journey and to have feedback that says, Rhonda, that was what I needed to hear today. Then I'm like, you know what? And I'm going to keep showing up because I don't think we leave enough encouragement for us women in life.
Oh, I agree.
Right? So to hear somebody, I just yesterday I did an Instagram story about, here's what you do. I want you to get some pieces of paper and I want you to write all of your pain points on these pieces of paper, right? So my dog died 2 years ago. All of the little things that are painful in your life that you don't talk about to people. Not that you can't. It's just that how do you take all of these things and say, this is kind of what I'm carrying around. So I want you to write them all out and you put them on a table. Okay? Look at them there. Mm-hmm. And then I said to him, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Because I wished you didn't have to go through that. But I hear you. And that right there was enough to have people reach out and say, Rhonda, I needed to hear that today.
Oh, that's
And I was
so
like,
great.
That's so cool. You're not going to get that with an AI bot.
No.
You know?
No.
So I think sometimes we have to remember that with the changes with AI that, there's going to be kind of this, what I call a level of fakeness that's going to happen out there on all the social media platforms. We as humans still want that connection, right?
Oh, well, of course.
So,
of course, I don't think that's ever going to go anywhere.
No. But you're still for me, I typically do that stuff on my Instagram stories, or you do it more of maybe a YouTube short versus on the main feed, right? That's your main feed, your main YouTube channel. It's going to probably look a little different than what you're doing on your stories. But so now every platform, their content should be different. And that's the really hard part with somebody who owns their own business. They're stretched thin on time. And they're like, but I want to make one piece of content and I want to put it all out there.
No.
Well, go for it. You can. But it's probably not going to do anything for you.
Right.
So I would take the time to maybe learn a little bit more about each platform. So LinkedIn, it's still very powerful. I mean, you thought that was only for business connections. Well, that's an underutilized platform.
It's for people connections.
Yes.
I mean, you can say B2B, you can say B2C, whatever you want to say, but it's all people.
Yes.
I mean,
so show up.
So
show up.
And if nobody else is posting on LinkedIn about what they have in their store, well, guess what? You're the only one. That's where you want to
amazing. That's free. Content free. And so here's where I'm at right now. I was talking to my Instagram people. I was like, I pay for my employees to do certain things, right? We make mirrors, we make stockings, we have the retail store, and well, maybe I should be letting one of those things go and hire the girl to post on the social media because that's free. Our time's not free, obviously.
Correct.
But maybe it's money better spent to post on these different platforms that are still free. If you want to take out an ad, do it. But utilize what's right in front of you.
Absolutely.
It's on a platter.
I think, and of course you say that and it sounds very logical, right? Mm-hmm. But I think a lot. I have to stop doing that. I don't think. I mean, I know. I don't know shit. It reminds me of people who put energy and time into thing that brings them very little or no value.
Right.
So if making mirrors, and that brings value. Obviously, you're going to sell them, but what's the value of it?
Right.
If you have someone who is growing your audience, well, it's probably more value than a mirror. You know what I mean? Because you have mirrors, and you'll make the mirrors, and you'll probably make more as your audience grows, as your sales grows.
Right.
So people and business owners do this a lot, where they put so much value into the things they think they're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
That are cuter and sexier, and everybody sees. And I don't mean to go back to a website, but what are you doing on your website? Because guess what? Mm-hmm. That's where people are going to buy your stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think,
and that goes back down to social proof, that know, like, and trust.
But I mean, I've had clients who spend time on, changing the colors. One of the colors of their, supporting color of their business.
Oh, 100%.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares what your logo looks like. I'm
Correct.
sure it's
I don't
delightful.
even think I have a logo.
I'm sure it's fine, but nobody cares.
Right.
So whatever you started with, stick with it, because you want to stick with it because people may subconsciously recognize it. And when you change things up constantly,
don't do that.
Don't ever do that. Mm-mm. You are cutting, just because you don't like this little swirl in this thing or this color green, nobody else is paying attention to that. And when you do make those changes, just because purple's your favorite color, you have lost all those people who have seen you 1,000 times with the pink. Mm-hmm. You're screwing yourself. Mm-hmm. And people tend to go down these internal rabbit holes of the things that they like, without remembering the rules of human psychology and marketing and all this other stuff. So anybody can own a business, but you put your time into the things that bring you the most value. Yeah. And they may be the sucky things you don't like to do.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a lot of sucky things as a business owner that you don't want to do, that you have to do, but you will do them because you're passionate enough about your business.
Correct.
So you'll do it.
Correct.
And then,
successful people will do it enough because they're passionate about their business. A lot of people will avoid shit at all costs. They won't send a newsletter out ever. So they'll have 5,000 email people who signed up for the newsletter and never send one out. Well, that's insanity.
Yeah.
But people do that because they don't know what to write, or they don't have time.
Use AI.
You don't have time to talk to clients. It's like if you were standing at a podium and 5,000 of your people came to hear you talk, you wouldn't walk away, would you? Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. But it's not fun. It's you get no likes from it.
Right.
Rarely are there any kind of responses.
Right.
So you have open rates, but you don't know what that, maybe there's some clicks, but okay. But you don't get that dopamine hit or that dopamine
rush. I know
that
all
you
about
get
that.
from tweeting and having someone respond or getting 1,000 views on your latest. Those are dope. So people are putting time into things that are giving the dopamine rush. Yep. But is that growing your business?
Well, okay. So let me just go into that for a second. Those dopamine rush. So that might be why I stir the pot a little bit on my Instagram stories.
But that's why I watch them.
I'll be like, excuse me, what did that brand just tell me? I couldn't share any pre-pics of our holiday launch. Are you freaking kidding me?
Do you call brands out?
Oh, yes, I did.
So here's a good thing, because a lot of people, and again, I don't do this at all, not because I'm better or worse, I just don't do it. Do you get backlash? Do you get people, I think, are very afraid to say anything because they're
they are. It's hysterical. I have rocked many a brand's boats, and I'm willing to do it again. I'm like,
what is their response?
Oh,
probably very, very professional.
Not really. I mean, I'm one of my best brands in the store. So one of my things is, as a store owners, we bring in brands who are also selling online. So they have they sell wholesale, but then they also sell retail. Well, they don't do a good job supporting their other retail accounts that they're selling to. Well, that's just the name of the game nowadays, right? So even though I'm new to retail, I'm over there going like, well, couldn't you share me when I tag you? Couldn't you?
Right.
They don't do that. They won't do that. It's just.
Why?
So
They just don't have the infrastructure to
no,
support
they have it. So it's almost elite. So Jellycat, for example, they won't share any retailers. It's all about them. And most brands have adopted that same type of like, we're so cool. We're only going to...
Why would they do that? They're missing out.
They're sending more traffic to their retail.
Okay.
Or they're trying to build their own social media account. Then here's how I look at it. If they would support their retailers, these
They'd have
wholesale
more
accounts,
retailers,
we could do the work for them and they would have more business. But they don't see it the way I do. And I have talked to a couple of my brands about it. I said, I am an amazing seller. That I have sold brands like nobody's business. I am the best retailer for some of my brands. And I'm new. I'm only 2 years old. But I need your support. And if you gave me the support that I need, I can grow this even more. They won't. A part of that, I think, is their ego. They want to come off on social media
It's
as like...
all ego.
Right?
It's all ego. Ego is the downfall for many business owners. Ego is ridiculous. Ego, if you are not... Ego is crazy. And I see people who won't share other people's things but maybe those person has shared them. But they won't do it. It's because it's, I'm not going to do it. Well, why? You look like a fucking asshole when you don't support other people. You look better when you support other people.
Well, sometimes, so this one brand, I call them out on it. And literally on my Instagram stories, I tag them, I call them out. I'm like, you know what? Just saying, like, I could use a reshare here. I have had them just say, I've had one say, someday. Or, well, keep trying. Yeah, I've had multiple.
I got to tell you, those are great responses. Did they make you laugh?
Oh yeah, I'm like, okay, well, and someday, I do. And then one of the gals,
you should sing a someday song or something.
Oh my gosh, I should do a skit on this.
Do you call people out or just brands?
Oh, I've called some people out. Yeah, in kind of a sly way where my followers will be like, oh, I think I know who she's talking about, you know? And I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? It's a brutal business out there and you went and stepped on my toes. Who are you to say I can and I can't do things a certain way? I'm like, no, you pulled bitch and I'm going to call you out on it.
Right.
You know what?
Manny.
Maybe people would stop being less of a bitch.
Probably not.
No, and then here I am, like, actually being a bitch myself because I'm like, you can't treat me like that, so I'm going to call you out. So I do try to rein it in a little bit. My latest...
Does it get you anywhere? They don't stop being a bitch. They don't think they're being a bitch. You know that, right?
100%.
People do not.
No.
They
but I know when I'm being a bitch and I'm like,
justify their actions.
Yeah. Okay, let's be honest. So Rhonda's just drum up a little drama.
Well, I will go back to the dopamine rush.
Yeah.
People like drama. People like to watch drama.
But I'm trying to rein it in a little bit. So we don't want to be too much where it's all the time. But I bring it out every once in a while. I'll be like, okay, guys, as a retailer, I'm over there going like, what's this brand doing? What the smack? You ain't doing that. I don't agree with that. Like, what? But
that's okay.
Then the next day,
but that's part of who you are, and I think that's why you've been so successful, because the authenticity is there.
Yeah,
and people try to be other people. They see influencers, or they see people with hundreds of thousands of followers, and they try to copy. And
I can say I've tried to do that myself. I've done different.
I don't mean the content. I mean the voice.
Yes.
And your voice is just your voice.
It is. It's a little bit hard for me to handle at times. So I'm like, oh, Rhonda, I can't even handle myself. How can anybody else? My daughters were just saying, Mom, what were you like as a teenager? And
this probably.
Yeah, I was. I said, yeah, I kind of rocked the boat a little bit. If somebody was like completely out of line, I'd be like, excuse me? Excuse me.
I used to be much more like that.
What?
I got into a few fights when I was younger. Girl fights.
I know, they're
Threw
brutal.
some
I don't
beer
like
in
them.
people's faces. Did a couple of those things.
Oh.
They deserved it, though. It's only if you deserve it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's like my mom always said I was such a nice girl and I was easy to raise. I was really sweet. And I'm like, gosh, I don't know if I'm like that anymore.
You are sweet. You're an intelligent person. And I think even you calling yourself out, I should stop being, you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But you're not on there just blowing smoke, trash talking for no reason, which
no,
a
and
lot
actually
of people
my
do.
brands, I mean, the ones that I've called it out and said, hey, you know what? Like, could we get a share? Could we get some recognition here? Like they will acknowledge it. We've had conversations and said
it's a normal thing for you to ask. You're not asking for something ridiculous.
Right. But some people would say, Rhonda, you need to have those conversations privately instead of just like blowing it up on your Instagram. And I'm like, yeah, well, but I pretty much share all my struggles on my stories
it's who you are.
Because I don't want to watch an AI bot. Mm-hmm. I don't want to watch another home decor or another whatever just doing their thing. I want a little personality. I want to know the person. I value that.
Yes.
That's where I come from.
You put yourself out there, the good, the bad, the ugly. But that is why it works, because everybody likes to put on their facade and put your pretty clothes on, make your hair beautiful, put on your face, be
sell the next
professional.
Amazon product that you're actually not going to like, because why are you buying that, Rhonda? And why are you buying a window steamer when you can just spray the cleaner and wipe it down? Because that woman was beautiful, right? But not all of us are going to show up like that.